Hello everyone, welcome to Vab Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. Thank you for clicking on this video. In this video, we'll be learning how to make this stylish gown you see on the mannequin. It's a combination of adire and this lovely shiny bias, and it is called Dubai Bias. If you know what it's called in your area, please let me know. In my area, we call it Dubai Bias, and it's really funny. This is very beautiful and very simple to make. If this is something you're interested in learning, please make sure to keep on watching till the end. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe. And also put on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. So without wasting time, let's get right into the video. Thank you. So to get started, the measurements we need to make this gown is the shoulder measurement, the bust measurement, the waist measurement, the hip measurement, the length of the gown, the sleeve length. These are the measurements we're going to be working with. Okay, so here my direct fabric is short in length. You can see that this is 40 inches in length, so it will not give me the length of my client. So I'll have to turn it to use the horizontal area, that's the yardage area, to get the length of the gown. So I'll go ahead and fold my fabric. So here I have my fabric on fold. And to determine the amount of fabric to fold, I'll be using the biggest measurement we're working with. And the biggest measurement here for my client is 44 inches, which is her hip measurement. So we're going to use this to determine the amount of fabric to fold. So like I said, her hip measurement is 44. When you divide 44 by 4, that will give us 11. 11, I'll add 4 inches to that measurement, so that will be 15 inches. So I'm going to fold 15 inches, and then the length is going to be, her full length is 59 inches plus my hemming allowance of 2 inches, so that's 61. So I'll cut out 15 inches in width on fold and then 61 inches in length. I'll cut out two of these because we're going to be drafting the front and back together. So I've cut out the fabric we'll be using. This is going to be for the front and this will serve as the back. So first I'm going to draw the starting line. So this is going to be our starting line, which will serve as the shoulder line. Okay, so from the starting line here, I'm going to mark the chest line. And the chest line of my client is 9 inches. So I'll mark on 9 inches here. So this is her chest line. Next, I'm going to mark the hip line. We don't need waistline for this outfit. So her hip line is 24 inches. Sorry, I mentioned waist measurement before. We don't need the waistline for this outfit. So next is the full length of the gown, which is 59 inches, then plus 2 inches for hemming allowance. So I'll go ahead and straighten out the lines. Okay, so we now have the chest line, the hip line, the full length, and then the hemming allowance. This is the shoulder line. So here on the shoulder line, I'm going to enter the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus 1 inch. Okay, now why am I adding plus 1 inch? This shoulder measurement will not stop at the tip of the shoulder. It's supposed to drop down a little because it's bubu we are making. Okay, so her shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 8 inches. I'll add 1 inch to that measurement, so that will bring me to 9 inches. So I'll mark 9 inches here. The neck width I'm working with is going to be 3.5, so I'll mark 3.5 here. And then here at the shoulder measurement, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. I'll bring in my straight ruler and then connect the shoulder slant like this. So I'll come to the chest line and enter the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus the same 1 inch, so that's 9 inches also. And then I'll connect it to the shoulder line. So this is it. Okay, so the next thing now I want to do is to draw the armhole for both the front and back. So first I'm going to get the midpoint of this armhole, and this is the midpoint here at 4. I placed my tape from the shoulder slant to the chest line here, and then I'll go in by ½ inch. This ½ inch is applicable to both the front and back. I'll go in by ½ inch and then connect it back to the shoulder tip like this, and then to curve it to the chest line, I'll enter the bust measurement divided by 4. And her bust measurement divided by 4 is 10 inches. So I'm going to curve it. So now this is our armhole for both the front and back. So the next thing we're going to do is to enter all our horizontal measurements. So the bust measurement divided by 4 is 10. I'm going to be adding 4 inches to that measurement. This bubu is supposed to be very free. So I'm adding 4 inches. I'll actually stitch on 1 inch. So the remaining 3 inches is going to be that will give the freedom that we want. Okay. So I'll add 4 inches. So that's 14. Our hip measurement divided by 4 is 11 inches. So plus the same 4 inches. So that will bring me to 15 inches. So these 15 inches that I have here, I'll take it down to the hem. Exactly. So I'll bring in my straight ruler and then connect the points. And then I'll connect it to the chest line. Let's blend it like this so there's no looking. So this is it. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the neck depth. So the back neck depth is going to be 1 inch. I'll connect it like this. And then the front neck depth is going to be 4 inches. I'll come down from the neck, that's from the shoulder line, by 4 inches. So here's our 4 inches. So here's 4 inches. So next we're going to cut out the lines. I'm going to be cutting the back neckline, and then we'll separate the front from the back before we cut the front. So this is our back neckline. I'll cut the shoulder, the armhole. So now we have our front and back cut out. So I'm going to separate the back from the front so that we can cut the front neckline. So we're going to have a slit at the center front. So from the neck depth here, I'm going to come down by 3 inches. From the neck depth, I'm coming down by 3 inches, and this is it at this point. And then I'm going to slash it open like this. Can you see? So this is what we have. So I'll bring in my leftover fabric so that we can cut out our facing. Okay, so I've placed my fabric, and then I'll place the back piece so that we can cut out the back facing first. So here, so you just give it any shape. So this is what our back facing looks like. We'll be using it to turn the back neckline. So I'll also cut out the front facing. For the front facing, it has to be longer because we have a slit there at the center front. I also folded my fabric for the front facing. So I'm going to cut out So like I said, that the front facing is going to be a bit longer because of the slits we have at the center front. So you can see I'm bringing it down. So this is what we have. It's also going to have that 3 inches slit in front. So this is where our 3 inches stops. I will mark it, and then I will slash it open also. You can see we're using this to turn the front neckline like this. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is to cut out the sleeve. The sleeve, I'm going to fold my leftover fabric into 4 here first, like this. Here my fabric is folded into 4, and then I'll fold again like this. You want to make sure that is enough to take care of the armhole measurement you have. Okay, so this place that is chopped, I'm going to confirm it. Okay, so this place that is chopped, I'm going to confirm it. The sleeve length of my client is 22 inches. So plus the hemming allowance. So you can see I have up to 25, which is okay. Okay, so I'll fold the fabric into four so that we can cut the two sleeves at the same time. Okay, so now my fabric is folded into four. So first I'm just going to draw a starting line here. I'll come down by the calf's height of my client, and that is 4 inches. Next, I'm going to measure the length of the sleeve. The length of the sleeve is 22 inches. We need half inch to join the sleeve to the shoulder, so that's 22.5 plus 2 inches for our hemming allowance that will have our elastic go in, so that will be 24.5. So I'll mark here on 24.5. Okay, so here we are. So this is the calf's height. So here on the calf side line, I'm going to enter her armhole measurement, and the armhole measurement is 8 inches. So I'm going to slant it to the starting point here. I'll get the midpoint of this slanted line, which is this point. So this is now going to be the upper part, and this will be the down part. So the upper part, I'll also get the midpoint, and the down part, I'll get the midpoint as well. So at this upper part, I'll go up by half inch. At the down part, I'll come down by half inch. I'll bring in my armhole curve and connect the points like this. So can you see I connected this tip to this point and then to this point. So now I'll connect to the down part like this. So this is it. So this is what the sleeve cap looks like. So I'll go ahead and add my sewing allowance. I'll be adding the same sewing allowance I added to the outfit. But a very simple way to do it is just measure the armhole, what you have here, so that the sleeve fits in. So everything I have here is 12.5. So let's measure and see where 12.5 stops. And you see, so it ends exactly at this point. Okay, so this is where my 12.5 stops. So I'm going to bring down that same 12.5 to the hem of the sleeve, because we're going to gather it. Okay, or you can just, I'll go in by 1 inch. So here I have 12.5, I'll go in by 1 inch, so that will be 11.5. So this is where my 11.5 stops. So I'll go ahead and connect it using my straight ruler. And here our sleeve is ready. So I'll bring in my scissors and cut it out. So this is now our sleeve, you see, and we have two of them. So that's that. Okay, so for the sleeve, we're just going to fold this way, half inch first, using my pressing iron, and then I'll fold again. Okay, and then when we have it this way, I'm going to stitch it. So this part will now be the elastic casing that will pass the elastic through. Okay, this is our front piece, and we're going to have this bias running on the neckline in front. You can see that the bias is straight, so it will not be able to curve here. Can you see? Except we iron it to give it this shape. So this is what I'm going to be doing right now. These are bias this way. I'm going to iron it in a way that it will form the curve for it to sit in front comfortably. You need your steam iron. Your steam iron, or you sprinkle water if you don't have a steam iron. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm not ironing this bias straight. I'm trying to curve it. Can you see how my hand is pulling it? You want to do this very well with strength. Okay? Can you see that my bias is beginning to change shape? So you continue to do this till you get the desired shape you want. You can even do it on top of the neckline, so that you are following the shape you have here on the neckline. You see? So this is it. Let's place it this way. So keep dragging it, and I've gotten the shape of the neckline. All I need to do is to keep ironing it till it relaxes well. You can see that I've been able to curve it. You can see that it will sit on the neckline now well. And you see what we have here. So I'm going to stitch it around the neckline. So you can see that it's not very easy, but it is doable. Okay, so you want to just make sure that you iron it well so that it can sit well. Or if you don't want to use a Dubai bias, you get another one that's maybe a trimming or something that can go round. But this is it now. So you can see this is what I have here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. So I'll just take this to my sewing machine now. I'm going to come down by ½ inch. I'll be leaving the sewing allowance on the neckline because the Dubai bias will not turn into the neckline. So I'm going to leave ½ inch around the neckline and stitch this bias this way and stitch it also this way. Okay, I'll do that from both sides, and then I'll show us how I'll be placing the other one down before we use the facing to turn the neckline. Bias looks like on the neckline. Can you see how it just curves nicely? So when you give it a very good press and create the curve, it will come out very, very well. So what I have here is already looking very beautiful. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to fix the one that we're going to have at the center here. So to fix this one, this is what I'll do. First of all, trim out my excess. Then I'll come in by ½ inch from this opening. Remember, I have an opening here because we want to see the tips of the bias. You don't want it to go into the seam allowance. So I'll come in by ½ inch like this, and then I'm going to use a pin to secure it. So you can see I left a space here. So now you will see that this is my center front, and see that it's showing a crease line. I have a crease line here, and see I ironed it, and this is the center front, this crease line. So all I'm going to do now is to place the bias this way. You see, so I'll now place it. I'll make sure that it's touching the center front. Can you see it's forming like a slightly Y shape? There is a space in between this part, and then here it begins to come to the middle here. So I'll just pin it down like this. I'll pin it all the way down to the hem of the gown. So you want to make sure that you are using and placing it exactly at the center front. That's the crease line I have here. So that when I'm placing the other one on the other side, they will meet each other. I don't want to have a space in between them at this point. Now I'm going to cut out what I have there. I won't be cutting out exactly at the hem here. I'm just going to come down with about 2 inches, or let's say 1 inch, so that in case it stretches out, don't just cut exactly at that point. So I'll come to this side and do the same thing. I will also place it 1/4 inch away from the opening I have here. I want to make sure that it enters the neckline here. You see? So you can see I'm just going to leave that space, and now from this part they will meet. Can you see now there's no space, but you can see there's a space at this area. So from this part they will begin to meet to form the straight line. So I'm going to pin it also. Looks like, you see. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and then I will stitch here, stitching away from the opening. I'll stitch here, and then I'll begin to join them here. You can see I'll stitch it all the way down. I'll do the same thing on this side. I'll also repeat the same thing on the other side. So for the front, I cut a facing. So let me show us the facing. Cut a facing which we already know, and I ironed my gum stay to it. This is to give stability to the neckline because of this slit we're going to have here. So after stitching all this down, I'm just going to use the facing to turn the neckline. So you can see that I placed my gum stay. Can see it's giving it strength here, so the neckline will not fall. It will stand really well. And you see, so I'm just slashing open the gum stay that I ironed here. So I'll place the gum stay now around the neckline like this, and I will stitch from the wrong side of the main fabric. This is so that I can be seeing my previous stitch. You don't want to touch the tip of the bias. You want to make sure that you don't sew on it. So I'll just stitch very close to my seam line so that when I turn it out, I will have the tip of the bias showing, and I'll also have the same thing on this side. So that's the essence of stitching the bias first before we now turn the neckline. So I'll go do this and come back and show us. So I'm done top stitching the bias, and this is what we have. I also went ahead to sew the basic sleeve to the armhole, and see, I also inserted my elastic to the hemming allowance. I did the same thing here, and then I went ahead to shape it using my sewing allowance. I left a slit of 11 inches at this down part, and I hemmed it. You see, I want to make sure that the work is very neat. So our gown is ready. This is what it looks like at the back. It came out so beautiful. I've given it a good press. So I'm going to wear this on the mannequin so that we can see the final outcome. Here we are. So this is the final outcome of our Bubu gown. Can you see how beautiful it came out? This gown, there's something about this gown. It is very simple and elegant. It is really beautiful, very simple to make. I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please make sure to like this video, share this video, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Ensure to put on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in my next video. Bye.